Example 1. A population of mice quadruples every 6 months. If a mouse nest started out with 2 mice, how many mice would there be after 2 years? Write an equation and then use it to solve the problem. Let's begin with our generic equation for an exponential equation. Y equals AB raised to the amount of times it has occurred. So let's put occurred right there. Next, let's write down our known quantities. Our initial amount A is equal to 2 mice. We also know that the population quadruples, so B is equivalent to 4. And it has occurred, let's find out our interval here. So it has occurred how many times in 2 years? X over T here. 2 years really is equal to 24 months. So we'd have 24 months over the fact that it happens every 6 months. So it has occurred 4 times. Let's substitute these values into our equation. So our final amount Y is equal to 2 multiplied by 4 raised to the 4th power. This simplifies to Y is equal to 2 multiplied by 256, which is equivalent to the final population of 512 mice. Let's confirm that our final population is 512 by creating a table. So let's create a table with at time our population of mice, population of mice. So at time equals 0, we would have 2 mice multiplied by the fact that it's quadrupling, but it has occurred 0 times. So we'll put that 0 in for our exponent. So it's equal to 2 multiplied by 1, because anything raised to the 0 power is 1. So we have 2 mice to begin with. Next, let's try after 6 months. In 6 months, it has occurred once. So we would have 2 multiplied by 4 to the 1st power, which is equivalent to 2 multiplied by 4, which is 8. After 12 months, it has quadrupled twice. So it has occurred 2 times. So we would have our initial population of 2 multiplied by 4, and it has occurred 2 times. So it's raised to the exponent of 2, which is equivalent to 2 multiplied by 4, which was after 6 months. And then we're going to quadruple that. So multiplying it by 4, and we'd have 32 mice. So 32 mice after 12 months. Let's take a look at 18 months. In 18 months, it has occurred 3 times. So we have 2 multiplied by 4 raised to the 3rd power, which is 2 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 4 again. So we have 128 mice. After 24 months, this has occurred 24 over 6 months' time, which is 4 times. So our equation becomes 2 multiplied by 4 to the 4th power, which is taking the fact that we had 128 mice after 18 months, and we're quadrupling that. So our final product would be 2 times 4 times 4 times 4. That's what it was at 18 months, multiplied by 4 one more time. So it becomes 512 mice. So yes, that confirms our answer. Example 2. In sporting tournaments, teams are eliminated after they lose. The number of teams in the tournament then decreases by half with each round. If there are 16 teams left after 3 rounds, how many teams started out in the tournament? Once again, let's begin with our generic exponential equation of y is equal to ab raised to the amount of times it has occurred. Let's put in our known quantities. We know our final amount is 16 teams, so y is equal to 16. We also know that the number of teams decreases in half, so b is equal to 1/2. And we also know that this has occurred 3 times. Let's substitute these values into our equation. So we would have 16 equals a, which we are trying to determine our initial amount there, multiplied by 1/2 raised to the 3rd power. This is equivalent to a multiplied by 1/2, and then it's multiplied by 1/2 again, and multiplied by 1/2 one last time. So 16 is equal to a multiplied by 1/8. Let's multiply both sides of our equation by the reciprocal of 1/8, which is 8/1. Leaving us with 128 is equal to a. The initial amount of teams, a, is equal to 128. Let's confirm our answer that the tournament began with 128 teams. Let's create a table, the number of times it has occurred, or rounds. Let's say rounds here. And number of teams. So to begin with, we are saying that we have 128 teams after it has occurred 0 times. So in other words, 0 times, we would have equal to 128 multiplied by 1/2 raised to the 0 power, which is equivalent to 128 teams multiplied by 1, because 1/2 to the 0 power is 1. So yes, we began with 128 teams. After round 1, we would take our 128 teams and we would multiply it by 1/2 to the 1st power to give us 64 teams. So after one round, the number of teams has decreased from 128 to 64 teams. Round 2, we would take our 64 teams left and multiply that by 1/2. In other words, we have 128 multiplied by 1/2 to the 2nd power. 128 multiplied by 1/2, which was the number of teams after one round, multiplied by 1/2 again, is equal to 32 teams. Next, after 3 rounds, so 3 rounds would be taking our round 2 value of 32 and multiplying that by 1/2. So we have 128 multiplied by 1/2 to the 3rd power, which is equal to 128 multiplied by 1/2 multiplied by 1/2, which was our 32, multiplied by 1/2 again, which is 16 teams. So yes, our final number of teams is 16 teams after 3 rounds, beginning with 128 teams.